You've come back, traveler. My name is Aytaç Ertekin and this is SITU, Silence in the Universe. Together, we listen to the silence and search for the stories it hides. In our last episode, we visited Germany, to the basement of an amateur radio enthusiast named Hakan. He built his antenna, turned the dials, and found nothing. But this time, we are not listening for others. We are asking for something harder. What if no one is speaking? Because no one ever did. What if we are the firstborn? And what would that feel like? Not in theory, but in the marrow of your bones. Most days I think about loneliness. Not the kind you feel in a crowd or in a quiet room, but the kind that comes from knowing, truly knowing, that you are the only one. It's like being stranded on an island that isn't even yours, or waking up in a hospital in an apocalypse movie. The city is intact, the air is breathable, everything is here, but people. That's what it would feel like to be the first civilization. Everything is in place. The stars are burning. The chemistry is correct. But there are no voices. Only you and the weight of being too early. As a species, we depend on those who came before us. We survive by learning. We grow by building on the ideas of others. Knowledge stacks like stones. Each generation adding something small, something fragile. But for most of our history, we created too little. Survival left no room for invention. Think about living in a village in a medieval Europe. We would live exactly like your parents. They lived like their parents, and your children would live like you. The wheel of time barely turned. Knowledge stagnated. Worse, it sometimes shrunk. It disappeared into forgetting, into fear, into darkness. Civilizations can wither even when people survive, and sometimes the only way to break the cycle is an outside spark. In Europe, that spark came from the East. Trade routes, scholars, books, ideas. Knowledge returned, new seeds were planted. Exploration began. Boundaries shifted. New worlds were found. Without contact, there is no growth. And if you are the first civilization, there is no one to contact. No one to trade ideas with, no mistakes to learn from but your own. No ancient ruins to rebuild, only yourself. And the long loneliness. Being the first means being peerless. No equals, no rivals, no mentors. If we survive long enough to reach the stars, what we will find will not be giants. It will be children. New civilizations just learning to speak, to think, to build. And like children, they will need guidance, protection, discipline, patience. We would have to be parents to the galaxy, not conquerors, not rivals, teachers. And if we fail, if we collapse into war, exhaustion, or despair, then many of those children will collapse too. They will never rise. They will never reach their potential. They will fall into silence, without even knowing there was a voice trying to reach them. That is the weight we carry if we are firstborn. Not just the loneliness, not just the risk of stagnation, but the unbearable knowledge that we are the seeds of all futures. And if we die too soon, we might be burying not just ourselves, but countless worlds that could have lived. So, maybe that's the truth. Maybe we are the first. Maybe the silence we hear is not warning, but an invitation, a calling, not to despair, not to surrender, but to endure. Because if we fall, the galaxy falls with us. And if we survive, if we protect our fragile light, then someday, across the endless dark, others may awaken, and they will find not a void, but a history. A story already began. A family waited for them. In the next episode, we'll step back from the burden of being first and ask a lighter question. If civilizations out there, but very different, how strange could they be? Next episode, we will explore the idea of xenobiology and alternative chemistry. This is Aytaç, this is SITU. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. And together we will explore the silence in the universe.